Hi everybody, my name is Tony Lankford. Welcome to Tony Lankford's Downtown The Actors Lounge. It's a television program that brings you interviews with actors from New York and Philadelphia, and we also show some great movie trailers as well. So hang in there, we got some great trailers coming up, some great interviews of some local actors from Philadelphia and New York. It's Tony Lankford's Downtown The Actors Lounge. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Quiet on the set. Take one.
What's your name?
My name's David No.
And what do you do?
I'm a filmmaker from Australia.
Okay. And what are you doing here in the States?
I'm sort of looking to transition to move to Los Angeles. I am in Philadelphia at the moment for the Big Bang Film Festival.
Okay. And what do you have in the Big Bang Film Festival?
I have a film called Forged, which is Australia's first and only sword drama, epic sword drama, old world.
And are you in it?
Yes, I'm the writer, director, producer, actor, stunt coordinator.
Okay. And what role do you play in the film itself? What acting role do you play?
I play Derek. Derek is an aging sword master. The film is basically about a father and son. Derek is an aging sword master, and he adopts a young boy, a young orphan, and teaches him sword work. And as an adult, they have a falling out, and he ends up challenging Derek to a death duel. And so we have a situation where father and son are both going to a death duel. Neither of them want to be a part of, but both can't find a way out of it.
And what was your inspiration for doing this film?
I actually had a student. I was teaching martial arts in Melbourne, and I had a student that was learning the sport aspect more than the martial arts aspect. And I felt that he was not learning the nuances of the martial art, or those aspects that are, I think, very important. So, and it's not because, I don't think he just came from a different background, and he just didn't quite absorb that sort of stuff.
Now, why martial arts? Why not crime drama? Why not horror? Why not science fiction? Why martial arts?
Well, I grew up. Both my parents taught martial arts. My father brought Taekwondo to Australia in 1965. My mother is like the highest ranking female in Australia. I've done it since I was in the womb. And so that was kind of a natural. I've been working in the industry as an actor and a stuntman for many, many years, and I've done a lot of those sort of movies with Jackie Chan, movies, like Yuen Woo-ping, the Matrix Reloaded sequel, and Enter the Matrix computer game, and those sort of things. So
Great.
It was natural for me to make that sort of movie.
Now, compared to Australia, what do you feel about the United States?
America, obviously, it's a bigger industry, much bigger industry for filmmakers, and I think American culture in general is very supportive of talent, irrespective of where it comes from. So I think because it is bigger, there's not a sense of competition and, you're going to be better, so therefore we're going to keep you down, or anything like that. So it's definitely a very positive energy over here, very positive.
What do you feel how do you feel about independent film in general? The direction it's going with the exposure of the internet, that sort of thing, as opposed to Hollywood features?
Interesting question. I think that independent film is very important. It's very important to foster, and that's why when you come out to these film festivals, you need to really support each other. As filmmakers, we try to see each other's films as much as we can, and we hope that we have a lot of audience, come in and have a look too, because the type of films that you see in independent film you're not going to get to always see. It's not usually necessarily acceptable to see from the perspective of the government or the framework of the studios, or in my situation, an Australian film that is about martial arts is unheard of. You know, the Australian government would never fund that sort of movie, so the only way I could make that film is to pay for it myself. And it's paid off, because the film has won awards in every film festival it's ever gone in. It's won Best Film in the last 2 film festivals, and we hope that in Philadelphia we're going to win another one.
Now, why wouldn't the Australia government pay for a film such as this nature?
The situation in Australia is that we're very heavily reliant on government funding. This is because Australia had 2 strong points in history in the film industry. In the 1920s, Australia was the biggest film industry in the world. It had was making more films than even America at that time, and it was the English that censored the films because they were making bushranger films. The second point was in the 80s we were making a lot of films, and that was because of a tax concession of 150%. So if you put $10 into a film, you got $15 off your tax. And a lot of people were brought into the system, so they closed all these tax laws down, and now government funding or private funding in Australia is very, very difficult. So because of that, pretty much all films are either made on no money or on government money, and then the government chooses what gets greenlit, what they consider is important for Australia to make. I think Australia does tend to have a problem with its own cultural identity, and it tries to be a little bit too Australian. I mean, I'm Australian, I've grown up in Australia, but it appears that what I want to make is maybe not Australian enough at the moment. But it is changing. They have just instituted new tax laws, 40% rebate situation. So, yeah, I really hope that I can go back and contribute to the Australian industry.
Now, you said you're headed towards LA.
Yeah, I've got my work visa, and I'm kind of transitioning to live in LA now.
And you're looking to do more films here in the United States?
Yes, yeah, both as a performer, and also I have my own projects that I want to keep pursuing. It's exciting times with David No.
And what formats do you usually work in when you're filming?
The last film I shot on Super 16.
And what's your name?
David No.
And what are you?
An Australian filmmaker.
Director.
A director or a stuntman. Right now I'm just having breakfast and coffee. So.
And what's your name?
My name is Dean Nolan.
Okay, and Dean, what do you do?
I'm an actor.
Okay, and why do you act?
Mainly because I don't really know what else I would do. I've been doing it for a long time, since high school, actually. And I don't know, it seems to me the most fulfilling job I've ever done, and I'm not really happy doing anything else. So
Okay.
kind of don't have a choice, I guess is what the bottom line is.
How did you get started?
I remember in junior high school there was a little one-act play competition that I really was fascinated by in Texas, called UIL one-act play competition, and I watched. I wasn't in the play. And then later on there was, the next year they did a production called Cyrano de Bergerac, and I did the guy on the left. I did a little role, and it was great fun. And I was always fascinated by it, but I never really knew that you could make a living at it. So when I went to high school in another town, we moved a lot when I was a kid, and the high school did a one-act play, and I auditioned for it and got cast, and I had an amazing time. It was The Elephant Man, and I played Dr. Carr Gom, and then the same year at the same school, I played Tevye in Fiddler on the Roof, if you can imagine. And it was great. It was so wonderful, and I loved it. So I guess I just got hooked then, and went to college and started as a vocal performance major, which is what paid for most of my schooling. And then met the woman who had just come to the university as the director of the theater program, and she said, "You should audition for a show." And I did, and it was really what I wanted to do, but I didn't know I could do that and make a living in it. At least my parents didn't tell me I could. And much to their chagrin, I changed my major from music to theater. And literally, ever since then, I have been very lucky to live my life as an actor and to work.
How rewarding is it for you to be an actor?
It's hard to quantify it. It's amazing. It's even when the show is it might be a labor of love of sorts. There's still something so amazing about it. This production of Amadeus, which we're working on, has been a gift. It's been amazing. First of all, to be able to play this role and speak the words of this brilliant man, Peter Schaffer. Wow! I mean, how could you ask for more? I can't think of anything that would reward me even any more than this. I just love it. It's this wonderful connection with an audience every time you're out on stage. The sense that they're listening and that they're affected by something, or they're moved, or they feel something that you've sort of given them the need to feel something. It's just an amazing experience. And I grew up the son of a preacher, and I watched my dad in a very sacred way for him be a very good pastor and took care of people in the church. He ministered to people, and in a way, the theater is a way of giving back or touching the lives of some people with sparking an emotion or a thought or provoking thought or giving them knowledge of something that they might not have ever known. And that's just it's a privilege, and I love it. I love being able to convey thoughts and ideas and emotions and sensibilities and feelings and lessons, life lessons from other people who put their lives out sometimes on stage or in the form of a play, and it gets put up on stage and folks witness it. It's a witnessing of some sort. You're witnessing. I remember I was in the original cast of Mamma Mia, and we were in rehearsals during 9/11. And we opened, actually, October 19th. Our first preview, I think, was September 29th, around there. So it was not long after September 11th, 2001. And I remember the day after 9/11, on the 12th, we all got the call that we needed to meet downtown near Union Square, where we were rehearsing. And we did, and it was so shocking. It's such a surreal experience. We all just sort of looked at each other and thought, wow, we're in this strange place, but we have this responsibility. We have this show to do. We have this commission, and we have to do this work. And we did. We came back the next day and actually rehearsed and started back the process, and it ended up being one of the most amazing experiences, that first preview and those previews thereafter, and even up to opening. It was a city, New York was a city that needed that sort of lift, that kind of experience to go and escape where we were in our real lives and sit down in a theater and experience something that took you to another place and sort of ministered, gave us a relief of some sort. And I'll never forget some of the people after the show who had been during the day down at Ground Zero had had gone through the triage, taking care of folks who survived and so on, and had that in their minds and in their lives and couldn't get it out of their heads, and would come to see Mamma Mia, and it was just this amazing experience for them. And that, it was a privilege to be part of that. It was great. It's a great gift, I think.
You said your father was a minister.
Yes.
Do you think about him when you perform? Do you think about the way you grew up, or how he influenced you as a child?
I don't know that I think about it consciously on stage when I perform, but it does. I think it informs pretty much everything I do. I'm very, very close to my family. I'm very proud of them. I love them very much, and I think that sense of family, as actors, we bring our own personal lives to whatever role, or our own personal experiences, I should say, to whatever role we're doing. And I think that, or at least I do, and I think that that's a big part of who I am. So yes, that love of family and the love I know that I get from them, I think, is extended through whatever character I'm lucky enough to play.
How much of you do you put into your characters normally?
Probably more than I would like to admit. I'm guessing. There's a lot more of Salieri than I thought there would ever be. There's a lot more of me in this role of Salieri. It's if you're willing to open yourself up and sort of expose yourself, be a little bit vulnerable, then you can do as much as you. It fits that character naturally, but I think it's probably a lot. I think any of us who say it's not, I would question that. I think there's a lot of each of us in our roles.
What advice can you give to up-and-coming actors? So what do they do? To stay in the business, to get into business, to
get into business is, I don't know, it's tricky. I think that there are words that come to mind for anybody who might be thinking about being an actor, who is an actor, who wants to be badly enough that they're actually going to do it. Tenacity, commitment, dedication, respect for the work that you do, and most of all, respect for the work that others do. In terms of fellow actors, in terms of playwrights and directors and other artists who you collaborate with, because we're all collaborating together on something, and I think I feel strongly about that. I would say that if you can't live without it, or there's nothing else that you can do with your life, and you know that you're talented, if you really know, and you know inside whether you've got it or not, you know that there's something inside that, I look at American Idol or shows like that where some of these people get up and there's this sense of entitlement that they're, oh, I'm great, I'm really great, and they've convinced themselves that they walk in the door and they're gonna, they're great. I don't know how I feel about that. It's so shocking to me. I would never want to be rude to them, but at the same time, you have to know. You have to be realistic about what your skills are and what your ability is, and if you have it, and if there's no doubt, and that's what you want, then you have to do it. You have to commit to it, though, and it's a long haul, and it's a lot of ups and downs, or it may not be. It can be. For some folks, it can be just this instant, huge success. It's rarer, but it's possible. But just be respectful, I think, and learn. Always be ready to learn. Never stop learning, and never stop wanting to learn. I think that is key. Arrogance, attitude, it doesn't figure in. It does nothing but alienate, and it doesn't encourage the collaboration. At least it doesn't to me.
What's up for Dean Owen next?
Next, I am going to go back home to Connecticut the day after we closed this, and then a couple of days later I will fly to Texas and start rehearsals for production of A Christmas Carol at Dallas Theater Center that I've done for a couple of years, and spend the holidays, that whole holiday season, with my family who are all in Texas, down on a little farm outside of Dallas. So I get to see my twin niece and nephew who own my heart. They have me wrapped around their finger, so I get to hang out with them for a while.
That's great. Thank you so much, Dean.
That's my
It was
pleasure.
a pleasure talking to you.
You too. Thanks, Tony.
The man I worked for had one of the biggest companies in New York City. He didn't own his own company. White man owned it, so they owned him. Nobody owns me, though. Most important thing in business is honesty.
Bribery, extortion,
Integrity, hard work,
murder, racketeering.
family. Never forgetting where we came from.
Who is this guy?
So you are what you are in this world. That's either one or two things. Either you're somebody, or you ain't nobody.
Whose house is that, Frank?
That is your house, mama.
Mine!
Want what you got, Uncle Frank. I want to be you.
My investigation indicates that Frank Lucas is above the mafia.
Who does he work for? Which family?
He's not Italian, he's black.
No black man has accomplished what the American mafia hasn't in 100 years.
They tried to kill my wife!
Frank Lucas is the most dangerous man walking the streets of our city.
This is my home. My country. Frank Lucas don't run from nobody. This is America.
Thanks very much. Hi, I'm Tony Lankford from the Actors Lounge. What was your inspiration for this movie?
The inspiration, the genesis of the movie comes from Jerry having a meal with Steven Spielberg, and there's a lulling conversation, and Jerry turned to Steven and said, hey, what about a movie about bees called Bee Movie?
Okay.
And Steven, that's a great idea. And he got on the phone to Jeffrey Katzenberg, who runs Streamless Animation, and then 4 years later, here we are. They're all fun. They're all fun to work with, and we were very lucky having Jerry involved all the way through the process, and he was acting with every actor the whole time. That's not unusual for an animated film. Sometimes you record that character one time, one character another time. So it was always Rennie and Jerry, or Matthew Broderick and Jerry, or Patrick Warburton and Jerry, and so that was fantastic fun. I mean, I had a lot of fun recording them together. No, I mean, one of the most amazing problems we have on the movie is Jerry was laughing all the time. So when he's with Patrick Warburton, who was Puddy in a series, he's on the floor. We have to pick him up on the floor. Literally, it's like, Jerry, can you just get up a second? We have to finish the scene. Come on. So that's how much fun it's been. It's been really great fun. Jerry's such a lovely guy to work with. Passion, hard work and enthusiasm, basically. No, I just have always loved movies, and that has been one of my life's dreams, is be involved in movie making, and to actually direct a movie with such a fantastic guy like Jerry Seinfeld, and to be unbelievably proud. We're so proud of what we've done on this movie. It's just it's a real dream. We completed my dream about 3 days ago, so I'm on a complete high. So. You'll see inside there's a couple of recent clips we show of us making the movie and explaining why it takes so long. But it's just a long process. You have to get the script, you have the storyboard, the whole thing out in its entirety. You have the storyboards, then you jump back to the computer after a year. At the same time, you design the characters, design the sets, design the environments. As you know, with computer animation, you get nothing for free. You have to build every blade of grass, you have to create every petal, every wing, anything. You're not getting anything for free. And so that's why it takes so long. And the thing with computer animation is you don't get to see the actor delivering the line with the makeup in the sets, in the scene, next to other scenes, right to the very end. And then you only have like, 2 or 3 months to tweak things around to make it perfect. So that's the trick, is trying to make sure you have an idea in your head the whole time of what you want to see and why you want to see it, to communicate that to everyone. Never give up. Never give up. Never. No, that doesn't matter what anybody. Just keep plugging away, and just as long as you keep studying and keep really. It's all comes from. For me, it's been my instinct. I've just always been born with my gut, and any gut reactions to things, and that's what's led me along the way. So always go with your gut reaction, with what you feel is right.
Stark, you've been called the Da Vinci of our time. What do you say to that?
Absolutely ridiculous. I don't paint.
What do you say to your other nickname, the Merchant of Death?
That's not bad.
They say the best weapon is one you never have to fire. I prefer the weapon you only need to fire once. That's how Dad did it. That's how America does it. And it's worked out pretty well so far. To peace.
Is it cool if I take a picture with you?
Yes, it's very cool. I don't want to see this on your MySpace page. Please, no gang signs. No, throw it up. I'm kidding.
You have till tomorrow to assemble my missile.
I should be dead already. Unless it was for a reason. I just finally know what I have to do.
That doesn't look like a missile. What are you building, Stark?
I'm working on something big.